This was the end so many had dreaded. Police say tiny remains found in a Rowlett landfill are believed to be 18-month-old Cedric Jackson.
27-year-old Cedric Johnson is behind bars after confessing to taking the boy's body from a Lake Highlands apartment and putting it in a dumpster.
Good morning. It's iCkEdMeL. Thank you, Brody and Crystal, for sending me the story. This is kind of one of those ridiculous stories. You have Cedric Jackson that was dumped in a dumpster by Cedric Johnson. He claims to have been swaddling the baby. Okay, swaddling is this thing that parents do. I did it for my daughter for a little while, not for long. When she was young, when they come out of the hospital, it makes them feel safe and secure. Now, they said that the child was 18 months, right? That's a year and a half. I've never heard of a child over 1 year old, a year and a half swaddling. That right there doesn't make sense to me.
An arrest affidavit says Johnson swaddled the boy tightly Tuesday night to keep him from moving. He told police it was something he'd done before after the toddler, quote, made a mess. According to Johnson, Cedric made some sounds, began throwing up, and then became unresponsive.
So I'm supposed to believe, you're supposed to believe, the world is supposed to believe that this man was swaddling a 1.5-year-old, which, by the way, wasn't his child, which we'll talk about later. So he's clearly uneducated, dumb, has no concept of being a parent. And then the next story is that he performed CPR for 40 minutes. I'm supposed to believe you went out and got the training for CPR. I did. I did it for my daughter because I was a paranoid parent. But I'm supposed to believe the guy that tossed a little child into a dumpster actually took the time to wait and go learn CPR and took the time to learn to swaddle. And we're supposed to believe you swaddled a 1.5-year-old?
Johnson said he then attempted CPR for 30 to 45 minutes before taking him to a dumpster, which police say was then emptied into the landfill.
I'm sorry, but I have to say you're a liar, okay? This doesn't match up with any kind of factual information I've ever heard of about a child that's 1.5 being swaddled. That's just the dumbest thing I've heard. So clearly this guy's an idiot. And he's also an animal for discarding this child like trash. And those 40 minutes that you said you were doing CPR, you could have called 911. Maybe the child could have been living today. Now, we got to get into the next topic, CPS. Another example of CPS being trash. And I'm going to start putting CPS in all the titles of all these videos. So when people type in CPS, this is what pops up. I'm going to start with all these videos, with all these cases, CPS. 6 children, after this whole situation happened, were removed from that home.
6 other children were removed from the home. The boy's aunt was seen leaving earlier today.
So in case you didn't know, Cedric Jackson, okay, the 18-month, he was placed in his aunt's care by CPS. So literally, CPS sends this kid to his death. Now, they didn't cause his death, but they literally placed him in this situation. These are supposed to be the experts. These are supposed to be the investigators putting this child into this place.
So, Allie, we know Cedric had recently been placed in the aunt's care by CPS. Did they have any concerns at all about Johnson?
They look at the criminal backgrounds of any adults they know are living in the home, and of course they wouldn't place a child in a situation where they believe there's a criminal history.
So did CPS know that this guy Johnson was there? I mean, he has 4 kids. She has 2 of her own kids, not including Jackson, and they were all removed. And this guy has a history.
Johnson has had several past run-ins with the law, including assault against a family member and even leaving a 4-month-old baby at home alone.
So I guess I'm going to end off the video. I mean, parents, man, first of all, there's nobody that's going to take care of your child like you are. Nobody. Your own family members, there's nobody that's going to love your own child like you. And then you even have these biological parents that treat their kids like trash, too. So not everybody's meant to be a parent. And then the other thing is these people in relationships that are no good because they're so desperate, because they're so empty, because they feel no love, that they put their kids in these kinds of situations. And I know that this kid was with the aunt, but the aunt was with this guy, and you just hear so many different stories. Look at the other kid, you know, Malia Davis. Like, what is going on? And people are so desperate, empty and hollow, groveling at the floor to let their kids get hit in order to feel some type of love. What is wrong with people that they're so thirsty and desperate that they would sacrifice their own children? Anyway, I gotta get out of here, but I do have a story coming up. Hopefully I can work on it tonight. It's kind of a story too that hit me a little hard. I have a lot of video clips, audio clips, footage, really interesting stuff. It's about a child that's deceased, and hopefully I can get into it tonight. My daughter's coming tonight, so hopefully before she gets here, or the weekend. Thank you guys for all the support, and let's keep bringing attention to this. And if you've ever been involved in CPS, like me as a child or as a parent, if you want to come on and talk, if you've legitimately been through a situation like that, reach out to me. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable talking about that, and you know what's the sad thing is that there's actual legitimate parents that I've heard from that have gone through CPS. You know, things have happened, whatever situation, but like really actually good parents, just mistakes have happened, you know, and they try to get their child back and they're literally jumping through fire and hoops. It's so weird. And then you have these cases where they send the kid right back to somewhere where there's a history of crime, a history of wrongdoing, a history of kids being removed. They'll send you right back there. But when a legitimate parent's trying to get their child back, I don't know how that works. I'm so confused about that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, comment down below. Peace and have a good day. And also be really careful with those daycares. I mean, I've covered stories on there before too. Daycares are crazy as hell, man. There's a lot going on in daycares. So be vigilant.
Yeah, for now, Johnson is only being charged with felony injury to a child.